See you, it's Washawea. Today, out here going for a walk. Decided to have a talk today. I did my episode last night on the seed of lust for men and the seed of anger. Okay, and today will be kind of a complex talk, but I'm going to talk about the seed of fear. Okay, and the seed of fear is something you want to deal with by digging into the light, the Bible, and your cultural roots. Okay, so people will put the seed of fear in you in order to control you. Okay, our parents may have done this to us at a young age. And what is the cause of that? Of a cycle of generational curses of the seed of fear? It comes down to social blankets that they did not remove. Okay, social blankets. So things that people learned behaviors from generation to generation, that people didn't break those curses, and they continued to drop seeds of fear into their children and other people around them until it led to what it did. Okay, please forgive me if I'm a little quiet. I'm having some pain today. I ended up rolling my foot, a tendon in my foot this morning, so I'm in a little bit of pain, but I'm just decided to get out for a walk, try and stretch it, and I feel better. So I'm grounding out in nature, spending time with Mother Earth. Okay, spending time with God to figure things out and talk about the seed of fear today. So the seed of fear, people will do certain things or say certain things or act certain ways, or have demons in them that will try and elicit a response from an already existing seed of fear that is planted in you. And if you don't have one, they will try and plant one in you. Okay, and the thing about the seed of fear is it's kind of like the seed of anger, where if somebody tries to drop a seed of anger in you and it doesn't hit and it hits the ground, you ask God to deal with that. Okay, well, you don't ask him in that way. You seek to understand, you knock and you seek, and once you find, you ask what you need, and you put it on at God's throne, and he will deal with it. Okay, so I spent a lot of time, like last night and this morning, in my boundary zone, and not so much in the Word. Okay, I've been saying I'm not going to do car videos, but there were certain things that came up, I got to do them. Some I say I won't, but maybe more of interlude videos will be in my car, things that come up that I start to understand, experiences. But today is a seed of fear. There are people that I've come across that have a seed of fear to even come out here alone, in general. Okay, which is very strange. People that have a seed of fear of being alone, and a seed of fear can manifest in a lot of different ways. Okay, so it can manifest from a violent experience that you had from your youth. It can experience from a violent experience that you've had from your present. People from the dark can figure out what seeds you have in you by your illicit responses to certain things and cues that they may give you that will trigger certain things they can see. Okay, based upon how you react. The best reaction to the seed of fear is no reaction. The best to the attempted placement of one. If you remove the seed of fear in you, the devil may come your way to try and put one in you. Okay, the darkness will press on you to try and drop one, so it feeds off of you. If you're underneath a curse and somebody has cursed you or hexed you, they will use those curses and hexes to cast certain things that may play off your worst potential fear. Okay, yeah, under my curse I went through here, a lot of them were strange. Jail was one of them, which was like, well, I haven't done anything to elicit me to be imprisoned for anything. So I kind of scratched my head at that one. At first that landed on me because I watched a good friend of mine get locked up for something he didn't do when he was younger. So it landed on me at first, but I had to shake that. Okay, from there forward, what do we know about the seed of fear? If it drops and hits on the ground, it bounces off of you because you're in the light fully and fully in spirit. The reverse effect happens to the person who tried to put it there. They are ultimately afraid of you. And it is not that they put a seed of darkness in their own mind, but they may have. But there is and not like it's a divine judgment seed that's placed in the person, not a seed of light. A seed of light is something that you put in you, but it's also God's divine judgment is something it hits somebody like a seed. And maybe it's like a reverse effect that we see it as light from the light, but it's actually dark inside them. So it's almost like a cursed seed they have to lift. And if somebody tries to put the seed of fear in you and it goes back in them, it's very hard for them to let go of that. It's very hard for them to get over that. I have people that tried to put the seed of fear in me over a whole lot of things in my life, my childhood, but once you pull that seed out is when people also get scared. They generally, when you pull it out and they've put it in there a long time ago, they turn and they run from you. They don't acknowledge your existence. That's how they operate from the dark. Okay, so we're gonna go a little off-road here. Okay, the seed of fear can also manifest in other ways that are not so encroaching. The seed of fear can be something as though I'm afraid to be alone, and I've seen this with people where they jump from relationship to relationship, and it's because of the seed of fear that they can't handle things that they may have done in their past, that they can't come to it, or that they cannot accept that being alone is necessary for their path. River Front Park. Well, I don't know where I'm going, but you will see this with people that they don't know how to be alone. They don't know how to embrace themselves and embrace the word and step in the light. And a lot of people may have the seed of fear when it comes to being in the light because they cannot face what they've done in their lives. That is a lot more common than you think. Okay, it is a lot more common than you think. So it's very heartbreaking to see that so much in society, that people run from the truth and they run from themselves. It's very heartbreaking to see that spiritually, very much so. But it's relevant, and it's become normal in our society that we see people with seeds of fear. They were maybe even put in them from when they were younger, and they have to grow up and take those out. And that takes work. So everybody out here has to do spiritual work for change to happen in humanity. It's back here. Nice place to sit and do a podcast, maybe. We'll see. Mainly what I want to talk about today is the narcissist and the empath, okay? Why does the narcissist choose their victim, okay? The narcissist chooses their victim because either A, they know that their intended target has a seed of fear that they can play off of, that it can manipulate through dark seeds, okay? So a narcissist knows that they can manipulate through your dark seeds that you already have in you, and they have plenty of dark seeds themselves, okay? What makes them more psychopathic or a dark triad is that they have a seed of fear themselves, but they've gotten very good at putting seeds of fear in people, okay? So they feel as though it's irrelevant. What really triggers the narcissist seed of fear is exposure. Those are the people that are afraid of the light. If you are fully in spirit and fully in the light, generally you are not going to have a narcissist come anywhere near you, and they want nothing to do with you. They may try and drop I don't even think they'll try and drop a seed of fear in you. And the reason is because they know that if that bounces off of you, it will be a cursed mark as a form of a seed from your eyes in them. It's like kryptonite, okay? So the best way to destroy a narcissist is to walk fully in spirit and fully in the light. Remove all your seeds and walk the narrow path, okay? The narrow path can become wider the more obedient you are. So it's a very hard path to follow, but the more you practice obedience, the wider it gets. And I'm not talking about like you have a narrow path and it widens out a little bit more instead of so narrow, okay? And so you have more freedom, the more obedience that you have. I can trek this narrow path instead of trekking this narrow path where I'm stuck in my dark seeds and stuck in my sin. Okay, so the more sin free you are, the more narrow your path, or the less narrow your path is. Turkey vulture. Interesting. So what I can tell you is the seed of fear is the number one seed that a narcissist will play off of, okay? And they will do that for control. The three that they use, I believe, is fear, lust, and anger. If you cannot identify them playing off your seed of anger, then they have at least one of three routes that they can work through to get to you and to control you, to manipulate you, and to ruin your life, okay? That's what they seek to do, is steal, kill, and destroy. So I was unaware to my dark seeds. I had a curse over my head and 500 of them stacked on top of it. So I went through a lot. That if I would have been free of that and where I am now, a narcissist wouldn't even look twice at me. They'd probably look at me and, that man is dangerous. Well, because you can't get away with what you were doing. So that's what makes me dangerous, is you can't get away with it anymore. Good. Well, a lot of times what happens in modern society, in modern culture, at least in America, is that people grow up with these dark seeds and they sprout. The seed of lust will start here, and it moves from here, which is experimenting and exploring with people around me, to things that are deeply sinful, like pornography, that go deeper. Lustful connections that, like players, their seed of lust goes down here, okay? Your seed of lust is one that can go way out of control based upon your habits and the way that you interact with the world, okay? So this is why I do not like pornography. I don't like the way that culture has been sexualized, because the way culture has been sexualized, they prey off of people who have the seed of fear down here, okay? Please forgive me for pointing down there, but it is what it is. So they play off of this, okay? They understand what they're doing. The dark understands the seeds of the dark. The people from the light, they understand the seeds of the dark, but they don't understand the manipulation tactics of it until they've already gone through it. Then they start to understand the world a little bit more. And to understand the world, you have to understand Jesus' testimony. More importantly, you need to understand, from my boundary stone aspect, I had to learn from combat too, where I was heavy in the cross and pulling all these seeds out rapidly, okay? If you dig into the Most High and you dig into Jesus' testimony, you will pull seeds out quicker than if you were just in your boundary stone. You need to understand that your boundary stone is important and you do not move it. And that can also mean another thing, okay? Well, what else can that mean? Don't let it fall out of you. Well, that is also what? Maybe you make sure that you don't break the 10 Commandments. That being said, don't move an ancient boundary stone. It means multiple things. It means you don't let your stone fall out. You don't do something that gets you cursed or marked, okay? That could be something like killing somebody. Somebody left a rose for little old me. But it also means a couple other things. You don't negate your cultural roots, because you can dig into this stone here. So don't let it fall out. What does that mean by not letting it fall out? You stay heavy in spirit, you walk the narrow path, but you don't commit a sin that ends up being a commandment that is broken, okay? So that's a whole another deal, is that you have to make sure that you're following God's word, okay? Another thing is, spells and demons can hit you, okay? So spells and demons can hit you based upon where your seed is at. So if you have a seed of fear that is deeply rooted in your chest and is sprouted, demons from other people can attack that seed and will attack your spirit through it. What else do we have? Okay, the seed of lust. Okay, you may have something where you have a seed of lust that's in your chest, okay, that you have not removed, or one that is in your mind, one that is sprouted down here. And this is where we see people that make advancements on the other gender, that they end up not only rejected, but they end up, there's a book that I called Cleo that I'm dropping that was important, okay, and it's about a whole lot of stuff, but the seed of lust is one of those things, okay, that if you find somebody attractive and they don't find you attractive, okay, and you're not equally yoked, that you will notice that you may go into a delusional syndrome where you daydream about the person more than the average person, okay? And this is, okay, coming from experience in some ways, but it's coming from experience of watching people. That I had friends that they daydreamt and they had these delusional thoughts and plans of the other person that wasn't true, but it was a demon from the other person that was also affecting their seed of lust, but it was also something in them that was also a demon. So two things from the dark connected, and it caused a big washing machine effect for the person, okay? So how can we see through that and see if somebody is equally yoked, okay? So one thing, take a pedal here. So what is the seed of lust, okay? What is the seed of lust? The seed of lust is something that is dropped in your mind that's dark, that can reach all the way down to hell if you allowed it to, okay? And your seeds are something that people don't understand a lot of times until they're older, when they start to figure things out and they start to walk with Christ and they start to understand the darkness that's in them and how to purge that darkness out of them, okay? There's multiple ways you can do that. The most effective way is reading the Bible, reading Matthew, Luke, John, and Mark, okay? The seed of lust, what can it do? I could have somebody who's walking out here in front of me, okay, that boom, 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 you know, you're running and your butt's jumping, okay? My seed of lust feeds off of that, okay? So your seed of lust is only fed through your eyes, okay? But it's also fed through demonic things, okay? So pornography and masturbation can feed that seed of lust and root it deeply inside of you. That if somebody, I'll use the example of last night, okay? That say I had a seed of lust that was sprouted here or down here, okay? And that person coming at me so attractive and so alluring to me caused me to go home and get into a delusional state of mind and commit the sin of masturbation or pornography, okay? That seed not only deeply is rooted, but it sprouts. So if you're fighting it and you actively go back into sin, it will sprout, which it will root in you and it will sprout. And are you much more prone to making the same mistake again without repentance and figuring that out? Absolutely, okay? Absolutely. There's something that the apple leads to an apple and leads to an apple. Disobedience leads to more disobedience. Obedience, well, obedience leads to more tests and temptations. And you are more prone to taking an apple and temptation if you return to your willful sin. If that seed is dropped in you and you act upon it, it is more likely to sprout, okay? It is more likely to have issues in here. Not good. I'm going to show you something, okay? Say I am completely free, clean spirited, okay? What are the levels of the seed of fear, lust, greed, whatever it may be? If it is dropped right here, thoughts, it starts at your thoughts. It continues to your feelings. The seed of lust continues to action. thoughts, feelings, actions. What does that mean for us, okay? As Christians, as very spiritual people within our boundary stones and our pathways of our roots, what does that mean? If you are clean spirited, you can tell when somebody has dropped a seed here, okay? When the devil or darkness has, or somebody has dropped a seed here. Like last night, somebody tried to drop a seed of lust right here, and it went boink and dropped right on the ground. And I went, oh, okay. And I saw that instantly when that happens, you can see the reflection of the other person on how deep that exact seed went, and it went all the way down to here, which means she was probably into pornography or hooking up, or uses rejection to feed her seed of lust, okay? The seed of fear, okay? How does that work here, here, and here? I see something that is potentially a threat to me. Thoughts. My mind's running. Leads to feelings where fear manifests, okay? And then, well, what does it mean that fear is down here? Action, okay? Running. Doing something that is based off of that seed of fear instead of off of wisdom, okay? So what does that mean with the seed of fear? How can you act on the seed of fear? You can run, okay? You abandon your faith and you take a path in the dark that seems less scary, okay? When in reality, if it wouldn't have hit action and feelings, you would have taken thought and pushed it out of your mind and flicked it right out. Why? Because you have scripture you can recite, and you have experiences within your boundary stone you can understand. That's how you remove it from thoughts going to feelings. You recognize, and once you master that, seeds bounce off of you everywhere you go. So I can walk through a crowd of people and they all try and hit me with seeds, and they bounce right off and hit the ground. In turn, then they have something they have to deal with here. And I believe that a lot of times that seed of divine judgment that God will put in people is a forced reflection, that you have a contagious effect on people, that if it hits you and bounces off, the other person starts to look at themselves and go, okay, I need to do some serious work, there's something wrong with me right now. Well, because they tried to put the seed in you, okay? Maybe the demon inside them tried to put the seed in you, and it wasn't them actively, but it allows them to recognize their own demon. The divine judgment seed is put in people. It goes right here, okay? And it's thoughts. And then it leads to feelings, and it leads to actions. And a lot of time, what is the action? Well, it's not action, but I'm not talking about action as in using this down here. I mean action as in rooted in your spirit. What is the divine judgment seed that drops here? What is the action? Uprooting it. Pulling the roots of that seed out from action to feelings to thoughts, and gone, okay? And well, you have to fill your spirit. You are a lamp. You hold a lamp up to people. So if you don't have one, you're dead. Let's head down here, see what's good. So, take a little path out here real quick. Fishing spot. So that your seed can manifest in 3 ways. There's a cycle to it. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. Head, chest, groin. As people may say chakras, I don't do that, okay? I don't do that. I just see the body as a human vessel, not that detailed, okay? It's more simple than you think. Don't make it too complex. Although your heart chakra could be interpreted as feelings, thoughts, but this here, root chakra, okay? People will say that. Well, it makes sense. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. I just don't follow that, okay? So it's not a religion or spirituality that I follow, per se, okay? Another fishing spot. Not bad. But you will start to understand the fruits of the Spirit the more you can take out. Where does discernment come from? Okay? When your seeds are sight. If it is dark all the way down, I cannot see. My lamp is not lit. You have to remove the seeds out of your mind in order to get sight. The gift of discernment is obtained by removing seeds from your root, your heart, and your mind. Okay? So, and this is one thing that's off topic, but why do they call this the root down here? Well, that's interesting. Maybe that's where our spirit is rooted, is down here in our reproductive area, okay? Which is an interesting thing to think about. But pulling seeds out isn't some walk in the park for people, okay? There's a reason why I'm here. So, there's a reason why I'm here. I'm going to find a good place to put this, okay? Not so somebody can come out and find it and try and take it. So if you're watching me from this town, don't be trying to take my arrowheads, bro. They're here for a reason, okay? So I'm gonna come right down here. Boy, there's people out here fishing already. Let's walk this way. I may just put this one in the water. This is one I've had for a while. I've been deciding on what to do with it. I'm gonna leave this as a mark. That maybe somebody watches this video and comes out here and remembers this right here as a talk, okay? Not something that people can necessarily see well is going out there, but something that people can remember to reflect on when you watch this video. If you live here, you know where I'm at, okay? You probably know if you are hometown from here, which people here need spiritual healing. If you find this video and you reflect on it and you need some time alone, come out here and think about it. You may find me here. You may find me spiritually here. You may find me physically here fishing. I don't know. But what I can tell you is, to obtain sight, you have to remove the seeds of darkness that have been planted in you since you were a child. Seeds that grew because of your own habits, and seeds that grew because of your own reactions to things. So you may have seeds of fear in regards to situations you don't understand. This is where therapy has come in, where they use cognitive behavioral therapy for certain things. So they try and train people's minds. Well, in order to train somebody's mind, you have to uproot the seed from their root, okay? From the root of their spirit. You have to understand that, okay? If you can't uproot the seed from your spirit, cognitive behavioral therapy may not be as effective. How do you uproot a seed from your spirit so that cognitive behavioral therapy is easier? That's the psychological, spiritual mash I'm talking about here, okay? How do you do that? Well, wisdom. So, while you're going to therapy to get cognitive behavioral therapy, you need to be getting wisdom in the Word. And when you get wisdom in the Word, you start to understand where you can uproot it, and cognitive behavioral therapy becomes 1,000 times more effective. That somebody can lead you and teach you. Okay? So if they can't lead you and teach you, there's no point. So you have to understand that part of it, okay? You have to understand that part of it. When you do, if you can uproot it from your root of your spirit into just feelings, so you can take it from here to here, you can do something with it, okay? You can do something with it. You can fight it much more effectively. It has to be taken out of the root of your spirit. Without that, your chances of success are a lot lower, okay? So for this video, I want this to represent strength for people, okay? So when you need strength, maybe you reflect on this and you come out here and you think about the seeds that are rooted in your spirit. And let this place be a place of strength. Okay? A place of strength where you can reflect on it and just remember that it's out there. It's out there. Okay? There it goes. Let it carry away to the water. We should let it carry. This is a place of strength. This is a grounding area, okay? This is grounding. When you're out in nature, you're grounding, okay? And yes, we're surrounded by city cars and industry, but for people that are here, that I have tried to, I've identified certain seeds within certain people here that need to be uprooted. It is your job to uproot them yourself. If you find me out here and you have uprooted them, then maybe I can help you here with leading you. You can only lead somebody if they have a lamp, and not necessarily even a lamp that things become uprooted. The lamp leads. So I have a light that I can lead people, that can teach you, but you're only teachable if you're uprooted here and you can accept correction. That's the only way. Otherwise, the blind lead the blind. It's not a good way to go, okay? Blind leading the blind is not a good way to go. It's not something that you want to fall into a trap to, because if the blind lead the blind, you have a increased chance of being led astray by a false prophet, a wolf in sheep clothing, when what you really need is an authentic wolf from the light, one of God's wolves, a shepherd to say. And Jesus is the ultimate shepherd, so he can lead you. And Jesus has chosen ones, God has chosen ones that can be that lamp for you to teach you how to put oil in your own, so that maybe you can lead people, okay? And that's something that God chooses specific people in life, okay, to do specific things. Specific things. This is something that is specific to me. This is a place of strength, okay? This is a place of grounding, a place of strength, where anybody who sees this video and comes here, I want you to reflect on the dark seeds that have a grip on you, that are rooted in spirit. And what happens when you uproot something, okay? Oh, it's grass down here, bro. When you uproot something, you're immediately going to have feelings about it. And what are the feelings? I'm uprooting this lust, okay? It comes to here. What does this mean? I'm having feelings and I'm resentful because maybe I didn't get to experience the love life that I wanted to, okay? If you can get rid of those feelings and up into here, and they're just thoughts of, well, maybe that wasn't so bad, or maybe I have lustful thoughts about somebody but not feelings, and then uproot them from there. Why is it not good to have lustful thoughts? Because you can become delusional and go through a washing machine of having a perceived connection with somebody that is not a perceived connection. Ducks, bro, ducks. A connection that is not true. It is delusional. That you fail to understand it, okay? You fail to understand it. Why? Well, and you may have lustful thoughts about each other, and it could lead to lustful feelings. But if you have all those seeds removed from you, and you find somebody from the opposite gender that lines up and you're equally yoked, the chances of you finding successful partners and successful relationships in general are a lot better. So say there is a male and male, and this is not like a homosexual situation, but a friendship, that it is a lot harder for you to find an equally yoked friendship if they have a seed of lust. Oh, if they're equally rooted with seeds of lust, that's a problem, because they're both feeding off of it, and that's causing a lot of issues, okay? It can cause a lot of issues, as in how? Well, maybe you both have girlfriends, and with that seed of lust that you both have, one of you makes a decision and a mistake to sleep with the other friend's girlfriend, which leads to betrayal. Equally yoked relationships, even same gender as friendships, they're more trustworthy and built on stone rather than sand. They're built on stone rather than sand. They're built on stone. So you know you can trust that person, but you can also identify if that person has that seed of lust or gains it. If they had that put into them, you can tell. Okay? It's a very interesting thing. But if you don't uproot, you won't find the meaning in meaningful relationships that are meant for you. You will end up in a washing machine effect, okay? You will end up in a washing machine effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this stone with me. I left something, but I'm going to take something with me. So this stone represents strength for me, okay? It represents this moment that I did this here, okay? My stone of strength, I suppose. Something that's more spiritual that to take with me. Why? Friendships that I build from here forward and relationships that I build from here forward are built on stone and they're strong. They're not built on sand and superficial. We don't share values of seed of lust that are out of control. Uncontrolled snakes lead to uncontrolled sticks, lead to this and this and that. It's not good. People find themselves in the washing machine that way. Just remember, when you come here, this is a place of strength. It's a little more secluded than other spots, but I'm sure a lot of people come out here and fish. Don't go looking for my arrowhead, please. It's a spiritual thing. If I catch you out there looking for it, I'll be mad. So, what can I say? Well, the seed of fear. Have strength. Find it. Where is it rooted? Why? What situations in your past have caused that to become rooted? What things trigger that seed in here to run or to flee? What causes your flight or fight or flight response? Certain things. For me, what was mine? I was betrayed by somebody very heavily that ruined my life, a Jezebel. So I had a fear of every single woman that came around me that you are a potential betrayal waiting to happen. And it robbed me of connection. Well, and now, what do I have? I have sight. So in order to get sight, I had to have strength. And I had to pull that out. So don't think it's a walk in the park. It's far from a walk in the park. Well, and I'm going for a walk in the park. Kind of strange. But here we are. The seed of fear is one the narcissists hope that you do not pull out. Because if you've learned how to pull them out, you will not let them drop. And if they do drop, they are right out of there. They may go from here to here and up and out, but they do not hit your root. That's where strength comes from, okay? That's where strength comes from. So a lot of what you will see after you remove a seed is you're reflecting on, well, why did that make me feel this certain type of way? Like, I went through all that turmoil for 30 years, but on the other side of wisdom and on the other side of, you know, my testimony and Jesus' testimony, and there's nothing to be afraid of. Well, why? There's the woman that there's nothing to be afraid of with women. Why? Well, I can see. So I can see your seeds before you even get close enough to me. So I can make sure that you're not coming to me built off of sand and you're coming to me built off of stone. Okay? So people that come here, I encourage them to go out there and find strength. When it comes to the seed of fear, when it comes to your strength, remember to walk the narrow path.